Jim Parsons is in New Orleans, investigating his paternal roots. He's just located his 3 times great-grandfather on the 1850 census and is about to uncover a surprising detail about J.B. Hacker.
Oh, wow. So he's a doctor. That's fascinating.
It's rare to have a physician, a white-collar person in that area at that time period. It's Iberville Parish.
Iberville.
Was a very rural area, and he was probably the only local doctor that they had.
I come from helpful people. Good, good. Okay. And then the Louisiana next to that signifies...
Where he's born.
Where he's born.
Correct.
So even J.B. was born in, we've gone back another generation, and he was born in Louisiana.
Yes.
Okay, so where do I go from here?
You could look into Dr. J.B. Hacker and speak to someone who's familiar with 19th century Louisiana history. And I can do a little more digging and see if I can find some more information on Adele Drouet.
Thank you so much.
My
This
pleasure.
is very, very exciting. I'm nowhere near a doctor, but it's nice to know that I'm related to one. That really surprises me that we run at least 3 generations deep in Louisiana. You know, I grew up in Texas. All of our family that I know of grew up in Texas. I had no idea there was a part of the family that was really entrenched here. So I'm going to continue tracing things through my 3 times great-grandfather, J.B. Hacker. I think it's very interesting, this idea of being a physician in this rural area. How all-encompassing is that? What level of surgery did he do or not do? I have no concept of that. And now I'm headed to Tulane University here in New Orleans to meet with Jeanette Keith, a specialist in 19th century Louisiana history. I've asked Jeanette to help me look into my 3 times great-grandfather J.B. Hacker's medical practice.
I've got some documents here that I think maybe will take your search a little bit further.
Okay.
Okay? We will get this big book out, and we're going to look at page 46.
Aren't you scared to touch this?
Yes. Okay.
Oh, the smell. It smells like my grandma's house.
This is a list of graduates from the Medical College of Louisiana.
Okay. Here we are in the H's. Hall, Hale. I see Acker without an H, so I'm assuming that's where we want to be. JNO.B. So, okay, so that's JB.
That is an abbreviation for John or Jonathan.
Oh.
Okay.
In the state of Louisiana, year graduated, 1842. So that makes him 32. Number of graduate, 55.
He was the 55th graduate in the history of the school.
Of the school?
Yeah, yeah. Now, this is the best, one of the best medical schools, if not the best medical school in the South. So it's a new thing, okay?
Wow.
And I do want to kind of emphasize this. Your ancestor did not have to do this to make a living. There were people that just hung out a shingle and said, I'm the doctor. It was
Some
fairly
still do, I
common.
feel certain about this.
Yeah. Probably. This school was opened by a group of young doctors who wanted to change that.
Because medical practice in the 19th century did not have an established qualification process, many midwives, pharmacists, and drug peddlers called themselves doctors, but became known as quacks. They commonly gave useless medical advice and hawked oftentimes dangerous products made from ingredients such as opium, sulfuric acid, or just colored water, and touted them as cure-alls. In an effort to legitimize and professionalize medicine, the Medical College of Louisiana, just the second of its kind in the Deep South, was established in 1834, 8 years prior to J.B. Hacker's graduation.
These are the people who are going to be founders of the medical profession as we have it today.
Okay.
And we have turned over to this other page.
Yes. Hacker, JB, other degrees, public offices, honors, etc. VXUO, middle, I'm assuming, MDL? No, not at all. What is it?
This is actually the New Orleans Medical and Surgical Journal. He wrote an article.
Oh.
Okay, so he was
published.
He was published.
Wow.
Okay. So the New Orleans,
Medical Journal.
And we will open this up to page 868 and 869.
And what year is this?
1854.
Okay, so 1854, so that from the census is 40 at 50, so he's 44 when he's written this. Yellow Fever in Plaquemine, Parish of Iberville, by J.B. Hacker, M.D. An epidemic yellow fever prevailed in this town.
Your ancestor here was in the middle of the yellow fever epidemic of 1853, and it killed about 8,000 people in New Orleans alone.
Oh. In the majority of cases that came under my observation, the fever began with a chill of greater or less severity, followed by violent headache, pain in the back, and abdominal extremities. So he's going to tell exactly what happened through the epidemic?
He's going to describe it. He's providing information for the medical profession.
When black vomit supervened, it was generally on the fourth day. Wow. Hemorrhage from the gums, bowels, nose, etc. were frequent accompaniments and generally happened on the third or fourth day. Good grief. He was literally walking through versions of hell where he was going.
Yeah.
It's horrifying.
It is horrifying.
Absolutely horrifying. They were still trying to figure out how it's contracted exactly.
Yeah. We know that yellow fever is spread by mosquitoes.
Right.
But they do not know that, and no one knows that until the early 20th century.
Wow. This is very reminiscent of like the things you read about in the 1980s with HIV and everything. The courage of a doctor to deal with anything when you don't know how it's traveling. And you put yourself in the room with patients, you know, that's a real commitment, certainly to your chosen work, but it's also, I think, a real commitment to your humanity in general. And maybe that's the best of science always does that, actually.
We can hope.
You would hope. You would hope. Now, do you have more that takes us even further with him?
Yeah, yes, we do.
Of course you do.
We're going to use a database that shows us newspapers.
Oh, okay.
You want to go to historical newspapers?
Oh, I love this.
And the date range, he was born in 1810.
That's right.
Okay, and then let's just make it 1900.
Louisiana?
Louisiana, yeah.
The loss of the steamer Gypsy. 8 or 10 lives lost. At 3:30 o'clock yesterday morning, the fire broke out. It originated in the wood on the boiler deck between the chimneys and immediately spread with fearful rapidity.
Yeah.
I'll be damned.